Oh, dude.
She like went and hugged. She like went and hugged it. So it was very adorable.
Oh, it's bananas. Well, that's kind of funny. I guess the same thing could be said with like people going to France. And actually, speaking of France, I saw this movie by Owen Wilson called starring Owen Wilson by the guy who was like you can't Woody Allen, and it's called Midnight in Paris.
Yeah.
Has Juliette ever seen Midnight in Paris?
I don't think she has, but I have.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. So you know that how it's like basically funded by the French Tourism Board. That like how fucking beautiful and like nothing but benefit, nothing but positive perspectives of France. Oh man.
And apparently, if you just wander around France around midnight, you'll just step into a portal back in time to visit Hemingway and all this crap.
I like how they portrayed him as kind of like a loser douchebag, because he kind of was. Sorry, literary fans.
I like how they didn't tell Tom Hiddleston, who played Hemingway. They didn't tell him that this was like a time traveling kind of movie. They just told him like, you're Hemingway in Paris, and here's your outfit, and go.
Oh my God.
And then so he's interacting with people, and then Owen Wilson shows up and he's wearing like, his like 2000s clothes,
right?
And his hair, and he's like
with the iPod.
Oh,
wow.
It's a time traveler movie, man. And like I'm from the future, but then I come back to the past, and you're there.
Wow,
and it's just like,
spaghetti
what?
dinner. It's amazing.
I thought he was losing his mind. Like, why the hell was this period piece being interrupted by like normal looking Owen Wilson?
Weirdos. Oh man, you can totally feel like his. Like, Woody Allen's a very damaged guy. Like, I think he's worth, like, 3 Larry Davids of, like, neuroses. He's like Larry David at level 16. No, at, like, level 31. It goes, like, I don't know, who it would be? It'd be, like, Jerry Seinfeld, then Jerry Seinfeld would evolve into Larry David, and Larry David would evolve into Woody Allen. He's like a side duck. So, what am I going here? Yeah. So, like, Owen Wilson, you can totally see Woody Allen channeling through Owen Wilson. Be like, you ever been like, you ran out of Xanax and there's no propofol, but there's also no Xanax. Like, who does that? Value the Xanax at the same time. Come on, guys. Anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty true.
Could you please clap your hands when I say 3, when I'm counting to 3? 1, 2, 3. That's about 4 or 5 second delay. Whatever. That's fine. We've worked through this before. And I'm trying a new thing of standing up. I'm gonna stand up like Tony Robbins. I'm gonna bounce around, and that's how I'm gonna do this.
So let me give you a bit of an update before we start.
Please.
The podcast.
Please.
You should also include, if you've recorded this part, you should also send this to me because it's funny.
I intend to.
Little bits and bytes. So as it stands, Marco has about half of an intro animation done for us.
It's amazing.
It's Juliette made a logo for us. What I ended up going with was the name Ad Absurdum in capital letters.
Mm-hmm.
In a circle.
Yep.
With a little microphone underneath it.
Yep.
And what's really great about the name is that the first part of it is ad, right? Ad Absurdum.
Yeah.
But those are our initials.
A.
The Ad Absurdum, the AD, the first.
Oh yeah.
So she's made the first part. She's made the first part a little bit bigger, and then the second part Absurdum underneath.
Oh,
that's
good. That's good.
But the circle that it's in, it's actually an argon nucleus.
Really fucking cool.
Just a reference.
I like that.
So the animation Marco's got so far is it's like black screen, and then it does like, and as it does that, it reveals the logo, and then the thing slides away, and it says Ad Absurdum.
Well, that's fantastic.
And then that's going to slide away.
That's going to
slide away, and I think...
Yeah.
I think when that slides away, it's just going to be a white page with the logo on it, with the title of the episode, and then that will fade away, and it will just be that picture for the half hour or whatever. I was going to leave it blank, but Juliette's like, Yeah, Juliet's like, I don't know if I like it blank for half an hour. And I was like, well, the point is to listen, not to watch. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna add in 1,000 pictures relevant to our, I like it. I think it's cool when other people have those, like, like the little, every time someone says something relevant, it like pops in a picture.
Oh, well, that's way too much.
That would.
One option would be to have maybe just some sort of ambient, low intelligent, like a low thinking image, like a lava lamp running for half an hour, or a beach, or like one of those talk river, just like on the same level as, let's say, like the visual attraction of, let's say, like a pseudo important screensaver. To just have something going on where you'd be like, oh yeah, the thing's playing. But as it is now, like, that's freaking awesome.
I'll look into that. Hopefully it's easy to just add, find a video of that and then just add our audio to it and then just hit it. Because, like, I'm very new to this, to this editing and stuff.
For real. I can't say that I'm an expert, but there's, like, I don't know, like maybe a couple dozen hours. Like, I edited sound on a couple projects in university and things like that. Like, not a total novice, but still not anywhere close to some of my friends' capabilities.
So, did you see the message I sent you about getting the wrong movie maker?
No. I just got off the
if you look up, if you look up Windows Movie Maker right now, and it's like, get the latest edition, you can get it, but it's like a baby's version of it, and it has like 2 features.
Lame.
And I'm reading the support about how to do video editing, and it's like, oh, click this and do that and that, and I'm like, there's no button here. Maybe it will only appear when I add like audio and video. No, there's no timeline, there's nothing. So then I finally looked, and someone was like, oh yeah, Windows 8.1 Movie Maker is garbage, get an earlier version. So I did, and it, like, so much better.
Oh, it's so funny. It happens with Photoshop Elements too. I had Photoshop Elements for the longest time, and someone's like, "You got to do like some sort of like filter gradient, transverse, whatever, like poltergeist."
And you're like, you can't do that. It's impossible.
Exactly. And I'm like, I can't. What is that? It's just crayons and shit. All I have is the filters. What can I do? Oh man. So I got some show notes together, and I'm actually really glad.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, you know what? We should just jump right in. We should jump right into this. Why not? Let's just. But I'm gonna do, a a little, because another podcast thing. Actually, whatever. I'm just gonna go right into it. Welcome. Oh, let's start again. This is episode 1.
Be more excited.
Oh yeah, I should be more excited. This is episode 1 of Ad Absurdum with Dallas Kazabuski and Alex Adams. What makes a great evil laugh? And then we'll take that little sound snippet, and then that can go at the very, very beginning before anything, and then that's what I was being told of, like, how good podcasts go. Hello, welcome to Ad Absurdum, episode 1. We're talking about evil laughs. How you been, Dallas? What's going on?
I have been excellent. I am really excited for this. I've been thinking about it ever since we decided to do a podcast.
This is one of the seminal ideas. One of the prosaic ideas. So you were in Niagara Falls the other day. That's outstanding. I was in Niagara Falls a couple weeks ago, and I actually wanted to ask you before we jump right into it. Did you go to the casino? And if so, did you see the D&D and the Ellen DeGeneres slot machines? Was that a thing that you did?
No, I was in the casino years ago, but I haven't gone recently. Not really. The last time I was in the casino, it was very clear that I had a very low streetwise check as to doing a casino, because I just kind of wandered around. And then I went to gamble, and the lady just looked at me, and I was like, what do I do? How do I lose my money to you?
Right.
She's like, you have to put the money on the table, because I couldn't hand it to her, because they would accuse us of, like, bribing the help or whatever, the staff. Yeah. So you have to put your money on the table, then they take your money, and then they magically lose it somehow.
It was really amusing when I actually went in there, because I got signed up for what was called the Player's Advantage card, and they make a really good case of trying to convince you that you're part of some sort of secret, exclusive nexus of, like, high quality individuals, where it's like, oh yeah, the Player's Advantage, you have an advantage of what? Putting your money in a machine? Like, you're really, really good at being this person who can spend their money on stuff on an RNG? You know they don't release their RNG data public, right? Like, all their machines are like... Shit, they don't even do that in Dota. Like, you can look at the frame data on any video game, but if you go in a casino and it's like, well, how does this random number generator work? Exactly. And they're like, you can't answer that. Put your money in, idiot. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I mean, some friends of my mom were actually saying that they go down to the Dominican Republic every summer, and they apparently it's great because you can bring like $10 into the casino and gamble all night with that, and you know they'll just keep bringing you free drinks and food and whatever. And because of the currency exchange, you can gamble all night with $10. So
that sounds amazing.
I was like, that might not be so bad.
I'm gonna go back.
At least I like paying evening. I'm not just like throwing my money into a building and then leaving.
It was fun while it lasted. I still prefer D&D, but it was funny because actually one of the machines when I started the D&D machine, it was like choose your adventure, and I started pressing the button. And then I heard this big evil dragon laugh when I lost my money, and I'm like, that's pretty insulting to me. But what a perfect segue, because Dallas came to me with a question a couple months ago, in fact, about what makes an evil laugh. What makes a really good evil laugh across video games, across movies, not across comics, clearly, unless you're going to hallucinate vividly. But this was really a great question for me because I did a lot more research than I really initially thought I would. But I wanted to, what do you think, like, first off, like, in a casual way, like, what are your good experiences with a super evil laugh?
Let me get the listeners up to speed here. This is our first or second podcast.
He's making air quotes,
point of view. And, Alex and I have often, been a little dramatic at the games table or with our friends or whatever. And I realized when we started this podcast that we have to talk about evil laughs because I feel that like it's a cliche, but when it's done well, it really connects you with a character and really brings a character out. And thinking about it a little, I realized that there is quite a lot of scale, like a spectrum of evil laughs. You have, we'll get into this in a moment, but
absolutely.
I find that there's even when you're talking about like game over laughs, you have the skull and crossbones, like game over.
Oh yeah.
You have like that, the kind of like you're terrible and everything's terrible with you laugh. Yep. Bowser or whatever.
I got an example of that with actually one or two of sort of like the all is lost trope, or like being totally dominated. And this is usually, of course, as you said, in like a video game. You're talking about Bowser. You've got the traditional Super Mario 64. Every time you go into one of the dungeons, you would hear like ho 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 ho. And then the other example of that is actually from the video game King of Fighters, Iori Yamagi. Whenever he would beat you, like you would have certain fighting game characters who'd be like, haha, I beat you, or like, they would flex or whatever. I think Sakura would be like, I won, and jump up and down like a high school girl. Iori would just be like, and laugh you to scorn. So if you're a good Iori player and you're beating people's butts, they would know that they were totally dominated.
Yeah, so you have that one. It's usually pretty short and sweet, maybe a little drawn out, but there's not much inflection to it. It's basically, let me bring the weight of your situation to you in the form of a laugh, like
absolutely
pressing down on you, right?
Yes.
The one that most people are familiar with is the I am evil and everything is great for me. And my plans are working, or soon they will be. I think that rhymed. But
go and check, viewers.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. No, but that's the one most people are familiar with because that's the one that's done. Like, it's overdone. It's like, soon my master plan will happen.
Oh, totally.
The good guy will lose. cuts to commercial or
Yep.
lightning bolts.
You got Skeletor. You got
do you
from
have-
He-Man, like pretty much every episode, making like his evil plans are coming to fruition. You got Rita from Power Rangers. He would make my bitches grow, and the monsters would grow. And even you got and of course the classic, even though a lot of his real good laughs are from a really shitty part of the series. Star Wars, the Emperor. Got the Emperor from Star Wars. Soon my overthrow of the Jedi. Do it. And he would make his cackling old man laugh.
Yeah. I'm afraid the Death Star will be fully operational when your friends arrive.
No, it's impossible. You gotta have like the even though Mark Hamill actually speaking of Star Wars, Mark Hamill's probably got one of the greatest legendary laughs in the history of evil laughs. The Joker from Batman the Animated Series, made from I think the '90s Warner Brothers one.
Oh, and that's the thing. Like, if you go, Mark Hamill could be an episode to himself because the man is a genius. But yeah, sticking to the "I'm evil and everything's evil" laugh, he does that one really well. You know, like, ooh, bat. He's got a great, like, everything is evil and I'm awesome laugh. It's amazing.
If you saw that interview from him
in sound quality, but you can feel the emotion coming out of him.
If you saw that interview from him when after ipso facto the series completion, he actually talks about how his Joker has a different laugh for like every season of the day, like every emotional mood. He's got like mischievous laughs. He's got like sort of maleficent laughs. He's got like and pure just like psycho clown laughs. And there's like I think actually psycho crazy clowns or just plain crazy is like another bread and butter evil laugh in popular media, to be honest.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Mark Hamill does cover the scale. If you want to do research on this, you can just watch the animated series with the Joker in it, because he goes from like the kind of like the ho like that kind of feeling, but it's like ho, ooh, Bat's not gonna like what you've done there, or whatever. I can't do a really good Joker impression.
Yeah,
he does like a short little guffaw like that.
Speaking of which, I actually was wondering if I don't know if we want to do this in post or if we want to put in the show notes, but getting some of these actual sound bites or just doing them ourselves. I think we can do a little bit of both, but like we'll include all of these in the show notes.
I think posting links in the description is always the best. I mean, there's a YouTube channel called WatchMojo.com. They usually do like the 10 greatest whatevers, and they do one on evil laughs, which was okay, but I think they kind of skipped over a few of my favorites.
Well, a lot of the favorites came from video games for
like,
me, and that was one of the reasons why I was kind of like, there's a couple of them, but you got like, for Irori Yamaguchi first of all, and then you got Sima Yi. Sorry, I keep talking over you here, but we're still talking about just plain sort of like creepy domination laughs. We're talking about characters who would dominate, like You've Lost. Sima Yi from the Dynasty Warrior series. His laugh. Please YouTube that, or maybe we'll include in the show notes. Every time he does one of his power-ups, because it's sort of like, if you can imagine, like, you're basically Sauron in the game. You're beating up hundreds of dudes. It's a real power trip fantasy. And Sima Yi is like, some of them, like, they'll do a power-up and they'll be like, unleash my power! And then it's like a noble knight kind of character. Sima Yi is basically the Emperor. Like, every time he would do his power-up, he wouldn't say any words, he wouldn't do any gestures, he would just go, and fucking lightning would just come out of his dick, and he would just, like, destroy everybody. It was amazing.
Yeah,
was an evil laugh.
Based on all true, like, East Asian...
Oh, yeah, totally accurate, historically accurate. Oh, man.
What's the name of the guy who hits people with his boat?
Oh, damn, that's gonna kill me. It's not Cao Ren. It's somebody from the Wu clan. Anyway, Dynasty Warriors nerds, you know who I'm talking about.
The thing that's funny is that guy actually did that, like, purportedly.
Oh my
he
God.
used to hit people with his boat, and not like he crashed them into them. Like, he had a small boat that he would carry into battle and friggin' hit guys with. But in the game, it's ridiculous. It's like a giant shield that he like wields around him. mows down fools,
Surf all over the place. Oh man. So we've got domination laughs. I wanted to touch on another laugh trope, which is just plain creepy laugh. We talked about a bit of that with Mark Hamill with the Joker, and I wanted to throw some other examples at you. You've got Kefka from Final Fantasy. If you've ever played the original Final Fantasy, that was sort of like a blown out MIDI kind of like mah, 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 mah. But like back in the day, it was like kind of a bit unnerving. And then you've also got the really classic, if you're a Michael Jackson fan, the end of Thriller. You got Vincent Price to seal your doom. And that's like, I think that was taken out of the radio edit.
That one is excellent. I mean, the great thing about that laugh is that it just like it ends that part of the movie, or it ends the music video, right? So it's the last note to go on, but it just lingers. It's like, and it like drags out like, will Michael Jackson eat everyone now, or like become a werewolf and kill everyone? But yeah, Vincent Price was amazing, and his laugh is spot on. It's like I said, it's rich. It just really draws you to the experience. Because the thing with laughter is that it can be quick and kind of just like an accent on the conversation, or it can be a piece, like a dialogue or sound piece itself. People use thunder and lightning to be like, ooh, ominous things are happening. But a single laugh like that can really tell you a lot about the character and the mood that's going on. If you want creepy laughs, another one, Willem Dafoe. I mean, pick a movie with Willem Dafoe in it. Anytime he laughs in that movie, there you go. And he doesn't even have to act crazy. He just is. And
I think he's actually like crazy in real life.
One that a lot of people like. Yeah. Well, there was this great photo shoot with him a while ago where he and Gary Oldman and a bunch of other guys are wearing steampunk and stuff, and they show like the photo shoot, like 2-minute video of like them taking photos of everyone, and they show him, like Willem Dafoe, kind of getting ready because he does his face, like his crazy face for the photo shoot, which is like, yeah, buy Prada clothes, become insane. But he's like, the person wrote a comment like, the great photo shoot, blah, blah, blah. Also, watching Willem Dafoe get ready for his photo shoot is probably one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. Because he's just walking around the studio, like, hunching his shoulders, like, making faces to himself, like, at no one. And then he just transforms into this, like, green goblin.
The green goblin! I was just about to say that. Actually, speaking of, he did a pretty good laugh at the Green Goblin. Was he? He was like a laughing, like that was a crazy character. He had like the green gas, and oh man, that was nuts.
Yeah. I mean, he did that well. I mean, regardless of what you think of the rest of the movie, whenever I imagine the Green Goblin, I imagine him floating on this little, I don't know the right word for it, but floating on this plane thing. And usually the comics will draw him like flying in or flying out, and his laughter will be the trail that he's like riding on.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. The visual representation, the ha 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 ha's comically, right? Yeah, like visually.
Yeah, and it gets louder as he gets closer or whatever. Like Willem Dafoe was able to capture that, I think, with his laugh. It was an echoing kind of impending insanity.
And harbinger of doom. Did you see that proof of concept, by the way, for the original Spider-Man, where the art deco of the final Green Goblin was his mask, his like plastic mask. It was a set face, like a Mengu. But you ever see that proof of concept in pre-production where you had that like physical model of his face, and he had big orange eyes and like an actual like Harry and the Hendersons animatronic face? Ladies and gentlemen, you gotta check that out, because I really wish that would have. It wasn't like fitting in the tone of the Spider-Man films, the Sam Raimi films, but oh man, that was delicious. But we were talking about the idea of like you said about punctuating or setting a mood and setting an idea, and that sort of led me into my discovery of another trope of evil laughter, is that a lot of times evil laughter is suggesting at something that the hero or the audience doesn't know, which can set up a lot of dramatic tension in a film. And my best example of that is the end of The Predator, when the Predator is this alien creature. Every part of it is alien's technology, is alien's face, is alien at 7 feet tall. Does it, it has all these creepy elements to it. Except the one thing that's connecting it to like a human drama is its evil laughter. And you see that the most at the very end, where Schwarzenegger's coming in, do it, Killian, do it now, gets him with the 2 logs, and then he starts punching in his wrist thing, and then he goes to Schwarzenegger and he just starts laughing. This mischievous, volcanic laughter that builds and builds and builds, and then that tension is delicious because the hero doesn't know what's going on, and the audience doesn't know what's going on, but slowly the laughter's punctuating the fact that the Predator knows something that the hero doesn't know. Oh shit, it's some sort of bomb, and he starts running away. And I think that's a great example of that.
And I think that's great too, because you, like you said, you don't know what's going on, not just because he's pushing buttons and you don't know, but they even go to show you the wristband, and it's a bunch of it's a language that we don't know.
Something else that's alien.
Typing in anything, and his laughter builds too, I believe. I don't remember exactly how it sounds. Maybe we
can like a
from you in a moment, Alex, but it's like
it's very Bowser-like.
Yeah, it builds. That's it. It's like no, it's just.
Actually, speaking of which,
builds. Like it's small.
Yeah, it starts alien, and then it gets more human. If you look at that scene, it starts with like a really alien guttural laugh, and then eventually, as it builds and builds, it's sort of like the opposite of I don't know another really like heavily modulated laugh. You probably see like, I don't know. Well, we'll get to that, but like this is sort of like reverse modulated. It starts heavily modulated and altered, and then eventually, as Schwarzenegger's like booking it through the forest, it becomes this like really human laugh. And I think that whoever the sound designer was on that, I didn't IMDb that for the show notes. I probably should have, but that was just mwah.
Yeah, that is a good touch. I remember we were talking about that before, and that is funny. Evil laughter often sets up dramatic irony, just because, like you said, the villain knows something, and that's what he's laughing at. He's like, they don't know that whatever, and he just starts laughing. Both for the I'm evil and everything is going according to plan, or dramatic irony.
Yes.
Tim Curry is an excellent example.
Tim Curry.
Funny enough, I tried looking up like videos of him laughing, and I can't find a lot of the ones that I was looking for. Like I was looking for, he does one in Home Alone that isn't even supposed to be evil. It's just supposed to be like, because the thing with Tim Curry is he's like Willem Dafoe. Anytime he laughs, there's just a little bit more to it than the average human.
Yes.
The average human is like, ha ha ha, that's so amusing, and Tim Curry's like, that's funny.
He could be getting the mail or like reading like an amusing like Hallmark card and be like, oh yes, I am turning 45. Very amusing.
That's exactly what he does in Home Alone. He basically, I can't remember the scene, but at one point he, maybe it's just that he smiles, but he conjures the laugh in my mind. But
he's sort of a
he was
villain.
in Fern Gully.
The bellhop. He's
and
like
he does. In Fern Gully, he does the like he is evil. He's supposed to be like the evil spirit or whatever, and he does. The great thing about that is that one is punctuated by the end of the song, plus like he's basically smoke. So when he finishes the song, he laughs, and then he starts like inhaling the smoke from the big like bulldozer. So it's just like and it's gross to hear on the podcast, but when he does it, it really adds to his laugh.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because the only Tim Curry reference I was going to drop was when he plays Darkness in the 1985 movie Legend, which, if you haven't seen, ladies and gentlemen, please check that out. He basically plays Satan with one of the greatest, physical makeup endeavors I've seen in a lot of years of movie watching. And a lot of his laughter is extremely dark and extremely morose. And he sort of plays, he doesn't really play it like your traditional, like, laughing Satan, like, it's really breathy and really, like, understated and extremely sort of dark, and, like, it leaves dark implications. The Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest, I completely forgot about that. He's got a lot of great... He's got a song at the very end where he's like, oil and grime, and he's like rapping, or he's singing about how he's like toxic sludge, And as he's doing that, he's getting larger and larger because he's feeding off of the effluence, the effluvial grime of all these deforestation machines. And as the song progresses, he's getting stronger, his voice is getting lower, and his laughter is getting more powerful. So that's another one of those. It's the good laugh.
That is a that is a great transition, and like lots of other movies with Tim Curry, he can do like I said, he can do just the casual kind of. It's weird how you can do like a casual maniacal laugh, but Tim Curry can do it. You know, it's like oh look. If he played a cop and it was like, oh, we found the murder weapon in the guy's apartment, and he was just like, like outside of a movie or a TV show, you're like, why are you laughing like that, Bob? What, you know? Meanwhile, it's I put it there. Yes, I framed him.
Oh yeah. But, this is a total sidebar, but like
cackling laugh. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So this is a good sidebar that I'm actually playing this game right now, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, and it's like I would highly recommend it. It's basically a mix between Batman, the Arkham series combat, and a lot of Assassin's Creed flavored exploration set in Middle-earth. Pretty good RPG system. But one of the funny things is that there's a system where you're making your own villains, and based on what you do, like if you don't kill a guy, he'll come back and be like, you didn't kill me before. Now I'm going to smack your dick around. Haha. And one of the voice actors, they're all Uruk-hai, they're all orcs. One of the voice actors says nothing, but all he does is this like disturbing, quivering laugh with this like nasally inhalations. Anyone who's played Shadow of Mordor, like you know what I'm talking about. Where he's just like, and for like 30 seconds, and you're facing off against this guy, and all he's doing is just like. And that's the guy I really wanted to kill in that video game. Good job, guys.
Yeah, which is, there's a lot of guys you want to kill in that game, like everyone who sounds like a Cockney orc, you know? Oi! Oi!
You think you do nothing? Talk! Or I'm gonna gut your gizzard off. Swear to me, mum. Gonna smack your gobble, mate. Fam. Oi, fam.
A part of the spectrum of maniacal laughter that I really wanted to touch upon is the, oh my god, I'm slowly going insane, and I'm accepting it.
Yes.
Laugh.
Yes.
The one where it starts off in what we were talking about earlier, like, I'm the bad guy, or like, I'm this guy, and I'm winning, and I'm so happy about that, everything is great for me, to past that point of no return.
Yes, the moment of insanity.
The greatest example that I have of this, and you know this, is Jafar's laugh.
Oh yes.
In Aladdin.
Yes.
At the end of Prince Ali or whatever, you know.
The reprieve. Yes,
Ali,
the Prince Ali reprieve. Yes.
Yeah. At the end of that, he laughs, and it starts off like, I'm the most powerful sorcerer in the earth. I've sent Aladdin away. Yippee. And it's you know, everything is great. And then there's a point where he just breaks. His voice breaks.
It.
He's just like, ah. Yeah, and I love that because you can see right there at that moment, Jafar is insane. He's gone now.
If you stop the tape, you can see the exact moment where his brain rips in two. That's probably
a Simpsons reference for those.
If you don't get the Simpsons references, get out. No, I'm kidding. That's probably, to me personally, I think that's got almost all hitting all the points. It's unnerving. It's got this. So we were talking about sentience of things that it's got this omnipresence about it. It's alluding to something that the hero doesn't know. The hero doesn't know where he's going to be sent. It's like, what are you going to do to me? He sends him to I don't know, Tajikistan or wherever. If it's like, you know, you've all read Dallas. I think you've read that future what do you call it? That conspiratist document about how Aladdin is set in a post-apocalyptic future, and it's got dominance. He's drunk with power. It's the moment of insanity. Another moment of insanity off the deep end laugh is speaking of Simpsons quotes is from The Simpsons season 5 episode 6 Sideshow Bob Robert. The one where Sideshow Bob tries to become the mayor of Springfield. And Kelsey Grammer Fox is kind of like tight-fisted about this on YouTube, so you might not be able to find it, but Kelsey Grammer does this beautifully voice-acted piece where you see him, and it's riffing off of the Citizen Kane scene where he's in front of a big picture of himself, and you just hear him go off for like 45 seconds. It's like, and like the animation, his eyes are bugging out, and he's just going totally bonkers. So that's another like extreme example of that.
Yeah, the Kelsey Grammer Sideshow Bob. Yeah, that one is excellent. Very, and I'm not sure. Like, is it a product of being like a really good voice actor? I mean, I'm sure it doesn't hurt to have really good control and knowledge of yourself and what other like voice actors are doing and stuff. But I guess it's easier if you're a voice actor because you're able to just, you're able to conjure emotion with sound very easily. Yes. I need sadness. Oh, like they can pull that out of them very easily. But I've often wondered if in order to make these kinds of like this kind of laughter, if you have to draw on a piece of the emotion like within yourself.
I see.
Like sometimes I've actually held back from doing an evil laugh because I worry that I will like open the box of insanity in my own brain, and then I won't be able to close it again.
Yes.
Like I have to like open that box in order to conjure that laugh.
It's funny you would mention that because there's a very big, maybe a bone of contention or just sort of a philosophical conundrum associated with method acting versus, I don't know what the other frame of acting is. And I mean, it's an unfortunate topic, but a lot of that is associated with the king of the evil laugh, the Joker. Like Heath Ledger unfortunately lost his life. He was a very powerful method actor, and some people were considering the fact that he might have taken it too far in getting into a role of such an insidious and damaged mind as the Joker. In more recent news, you've got that movie coming out, Suicide Squad, which is they were all method actors, Will Smith included, and there's some unfortunate stories coming out of that set of them getting matching tattoos and getting too far into their characters. So I think, Dallas, that has a lot of weight to it. What you said about tapping into that kind of I don't know what you would call it, like the unconscious, the evil, the dark side. Get a little bit too Sith in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I'm no expert, but the thing with method acting, I think, is that it's that far end of the spectrum. I think in order to be a good actor, you have to. I mean, it might be theoretically possible to conjure these emotions without feeling them, but I think in order to really have a good performance, you have to at least put on the mask of, rage or depression or insanity or happiness or whatever. You can't just go through the motions. You have to bring it out. And with a laugh, it's brief, but I feel it's one of those things where maybe a dramatic performance, it takes place over a longer time, so you can kind of wear the mask, but know it's not your own, it's not your own face, and kind of know, like, I'm not really crazy and whatever, and just go with it.
I think that's key, to be honest.
I feel that you have to, with laughter, I feel you might have to plunge deeper into your own psyche, but for a shorter time. I'm no expert, but I felt it sometimes when I started to like do the laugh like that if I really wanted to bring out like the best part, I had to just like, I don't know, you
got to jump off the deep end.
Crazy. And yeah, exactly. So
there's this
a really good.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay, so the Evil Dead, one of the other, because we were talking about moment of insanity. This is another element of the really good laugh is going nuts. Going nuts in the moment. And in the Evil Dead series, also the Armor of Darkness series, we've got two, and probably more. You've got the, if you've ever seen the original Evil Dead, you've got the haunted deer head scene where Ash is like, the movie is like, he's in a cabin in the woods and he's being beset by demons. The Necronomicon opens and all these demons come out and infect his friends. And he's basically there defending with his shotgun, and then a deer head gets possessed, and this is also related into the things that shouldn't be laughing trope of the evil laugh. Like you've got the predator is like a thing that shouldn't laugh. A deer head is like implying the sentience, implying this omnipresence. It starts cackling with this child's laugh, and then all the other inanimate objects start laughing in this really like classic Sam Raimi scene, and then Ash, I can't remember his real name, the actor's name, it'll come to me. He just starts losing his mind in this really really amazing scene, and I think that's, even though he's the hero, it's still kind of an evil laugh, because even that plays into the like, you know, the character knows a bit more than the audience does, because Ash is still getting ready to shoot whatever, because he's laughing, and then he's like, ha ha ha, and he swings the shotgun around and blasts a hole through the wall. So he was kind of like faking it the whole time. So that hits a lot of points. And the other one is the hot chocolate scene from Army of Darkness, where he gets infested with evil ash. And the evil ashes are all in this Gulliver's Tales riff. They're aping off of Gulliver's Tales. They tie him down. He wakes up. He's fighting with these miniature versions of themselves. One of them jumps into his mouth, and he gets this boiling pot of water with his iron hand. He's like, "How about some hot chocolate, huh?" Ha ha! And as he's laughing, he's pouring like boiling water down his throat. And I think that's got a lot going for it. He's like going completely off the deep end in that scene.
That's awesome. Yeah. Bruce Campbell does a pretty good evil laugh. As you were saying that, I was just wondering. I guess one definitive point that really distinguishes, the evil laugh or the maniacal laugh, is just the definition of malice in the laugh. Because I was thinking, oh, what about when little kids laugh, or when babies laugh, and you're like, oh, does that really count? But I think it has to be evil. And sometimes when like babies or kids are laughing in movies, it's not evil.
Yeah.
Like it's creepy, but it's just like background, like ha ha ha. It's not like ha ha ha, I am a possessed child and I'm going to get you.
Yes.
Sometimes it is, but yeah, I think that's a distinction that can be made.
That can be used out of context though, because creepy children's laughter can be used juxtaposed with like a haunted house, or you hear it in the woods. I think the really famous scene is you've got the Blair Witch Project, which I actually didn't think would come up in this because there's so little creepy laughter in that. But the laughter that's used is very effective because all you hear is like a little like ha ha ha, like, or I think they're alluding to a baby sound, which is like in a really chilling scene because the viewer doesn't hear the baby laughing, but like some guy's like, "Did you hear that baby?" And the other guy was like, "There's no baby, man. There's no baby," and they're losing their marbles. But yes, it's got to be like, you got to have that evil.
Not to go too far into the creepiness, but apparently a jaguar, when it cries, it sounds like a baby's crying. And I've read this somewhere. I've never heard of it, man, obviously, but apparently it sounds like a baby crying, and it has gotten people before who go to investigate. So how creepy is that nature is like, interesting. They care for their young. A really good example, like a really good almost tutorial on the bubbling insanity laugh, the last one we just talked about, going crazy laugh, it's a clip from How I Met Your Mother. You can find it on YouTube. Just search Barney Stinson evil laugh. And what happens is he gives a letter to a friend to read to his other friend. Mm-hmm. And he's in the same room, but he doesn't want to talk to them. And she's like, blah, 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 I never want to see you again, evil laugh. And she's like, oh, I'm supposed to do an evil laugh, mwah, 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 or whatever. Well, he comes over later, and he's just like, you'll regret it. Yes, you will. And like, you can, like, it's a good piece of acting because you can, from the beginning and then the end, without looking at the middle, you can tell he's just acting. He's just doing his part, and he's just putting on a fake laugh. But in the middle, it really does look like for a couple of seconds that he's bubbling into insanity. And then he's like, and that's how you do an evil laugh. And he leaves the room.
Nice.
So I always like that like the Jafar, like going insane one, that's a really good one. You can see the whole progression. But with Barney Stinson, it's almost like how to do an evil laugh tutorial, 101, which is kind of ironic because he was in Dr. Horrible sing-along blog, and the first part of that is he does an evil laugh, but it's just like him going, wah ha ha. Well, yeah, that's coming along.
It's unfortunate that you've got a lot of good material, but the sourcing can be kind of unfortunate and sort of maybe fish out of water scenario. Like you've got, of course, Barney Stinson's Evil Laugh. It's a soap opera, right? Or it's like what do you call it? A sitcom. So it's like the aficionados of creepy laughter. You'd have to really dig deep for that. Another example in that same vein is in the tragically bad Matrix Revolution. You've got Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. The moment he absorbs the Oracle, and his character he's become a virus after Neo beat him, and he doesn't recognize his own death because he ascends out of his computer programming, which is a cool concept. Pity the movie's so fucking garbage. But he absorbs the Oracle, and then you got this great piece from Hugo Weaving, and he just loses his mind, and he's like, and it's the context is cool too because he's a computer program, but he has like this humanity going on. And just goes completely nuts again. And that's really too bad you couldn't do that as an elf in Lord of the Rings.
So if we've completely lost our listeners by now, I'd like to just ask, like, Alex, what do you think what's the contribution? Is it overdone? What's the benefit of it used well? Why are we talking about this? Why does it matter? Besides the fact that we think it's cool, you know?
I think that
you may not have. Yeah. Go on with that.
Oh no, please! You can keep talking.
You can answer that. Go. If not, pass it back to me.
I'm gonna say that.
Okay. Well, I'll keep going.
As a caveat here to our listeners, there's a 5. You probably haven't noticed yet. There's a 5-second delay between both of our talking, but I think we're doing really good at skirting away around that. I think that evil laughter is important. Okay, so there's a few different levels here. I think it's really captivating. I think that I'm going to get real about this. I think that evil laughter is an important reflection on society of good and evil. I got nothing here. I think it's just some cool stuff.
Okay, we'll come back. All right. As the name of this podcast would suggest, Reductio ad absurdum, or
very good.
Reductio ad absurdum.
None of us speak Latin. That's okay.
Reduction to absurdity. So we like to think a little too hard about stuff that's just like whatever. It's fun. Who cares? But you're right. I think it's captivating. It's different because an evil laugh stands out. Even if it's a casual one, as we've mentioned, it's different, and you notice it right away. Laughter is one of those things that is very unique. I find a yell, like a yell, scream, or a laugh, is very unique. I mean, I can recognize you can all, if you've heard any Will Smith movie, you can recognize his scream. And then watch Men in Black when he's in the car, and you can recognize that. And we can come back to that in a later podcast, but it's the same with a laugh. Whether it's a guffaw or a wheezy, like knee-slapping laugh or a maniacal one, you can recognize it, and it's identifiable. So it's interesting, it brings the audience in, and it's identifiable, which is great. It's a great way to get into character. One that we didn't talk about that is kind of funny is in Futurama episode, they have a dark wizard. And it's like a 2-second clip that never comes up again. But anybody who's ever watched any fantasy or read any fantasy from the 80s will know exactly who this dark wizard is supposed to be. It's made to look like Tim the Enchanter from Monty Python, but clearly they're drawing on that fantasy 80s dark, like his name is Dark Wizard. And he's only there for 2 seconds, and he's just like, with those I'll be able to open the caves of Kadesh.
That's a classic.
Just that cackle.
Oh yeah.
I mean the Wicked Witch from Wizard of Oz. Everybody knows that. And when that happens, when you hear that's a really good
That's
one.
fire. That's fire.
That is like number one right there. And when she laughs, it sends shivers down people. I think part of what makes it interesting is that you can deliver so much emotion with so little screen time and effect, because you can say something horrible and people are like, whatever, I watch the news, I hear horrible things every day. But you laugh like that and people are like, okay, this person's really off the deep end, and I know this movie is supposed to end with a happy ending, but I really don't see how the good guy is supposed to prevail when that person is laughing like that.
You're forcing attention. You demand when you threaten. Okay, you've put it out there. But when you maniacally laugh, you could be in a bank, you could be in a church, but people are going to demand your attention. I feel like
yeah, sometimes.
I feel like just throwing out some honorable mentions, because as I was doing some of the show notes research, I had a few things that weren't necessarily evil laughs. They came from like comedies and other things. But apart from actually the last one I wanted to mention, and it needs no elucidation, but Dracula from the original Bram Stoker's Dracula movie, when he finally, like, throughout the movie, the quintessential evil laughter. So we just wanted to throw that out there. But okay, so Baron von Rotten, Christopher Lloyd from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. This isn't an evil laugh, but at the end of the movie, when he gets steamrolled over and he comes up and you find out that he's a tune, and he says, remember me when I killed your brother? I talk just like this. And I don't think any human being has. I think maybe a castrati can pull that off on top of Christopher Lloyd, but that's it was like heavily modulated, I guess. So Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. Even though his name is Evil, not necessarily an evil laugh because it's a comedy, but I think that's also, and also the idea of like pulling everybody into your evil laughter. I think Scar did that in Lion King. Like, he was laughing constantly, trying to get the hyenas to participate, the participatory evil laugh. And then finally, I doubt, Dallas, you will know this, or anybody out there in internet land, but there was this game called Atmosphere or Nightmare in the United States. It was a 1991 Australian horror-themed board game with an accompanying VHS tape that was an hour long, and you would pop in the tape and play the board game. And then there was a counter that would count down. It was like this horror-themed board game. You were supposed to, like, you heard like rain, atmosphere, and lightning strikes coming out of the VHS tape. And then occasionally there's this character called the Gatekeeper that when the counter would run down, the Gatekeeper would be like, "Stop! Whose turn is it? Oh, you're going to wish it wasn't your turn. Roll the dice! What number did you roll? Oh, well, you're going to have to go back that many spaces." And it was just like, if you can imagine Tom Wiseau as a really bad dungeon master in a robe, that was this guy. Please check out some of this YouTube footage, because it is just like bananas hilarious. And then finally, Are You Afraid of the Dark? You've got the Tale of the Crimson Clown, voice actor there, I can't remember whom, but that makes a great job of the insane clown trope, along with Mark Hamill and all of that. And then, of course, way back in Season 1, Episode 3, The Tale of Laughing in the Dark, which was another clown with a cigar, kid stole a cigar, and you got the probably one of the most overblown and classic tropey stock sounds, which is like, I think it came out of a doll at one point, which is like, which is used everywhere.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think those are really great. I can't really think of any more at the moment.
Me neither.
I've run nearly out of material. Have you?
I've totally run out of material. So I think we'll meet you guys next time.
Nice.
And we'll see you later. And
I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope the next time you watch or listen to something that you truly just appreciate the acting ability and, you know, the malice that is coming out of your favorite characters. So thanks, and see you next time.
Well said. Keep on trucking. This has been Absurdum.